My name's Andreina Monserratte. I've been in the real estate industry for a good 5 years. I am in-house, part of the management team for Optimar International Realty for the past 2. And my niche within the industry has been MLS and compliance all along. I've been teaching MLS Matrix now for the last 2.5 years, I want to say, about a little bit longer than 2 years. This is my first time teaching outside of my office, so thank you to AcquaTalks at the Sales Gallery here at Aqualina Estates. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for coming. If you see me a little nervous, it'll be at the very beginning, because again, I've been doing this inside my office for a while. I've never done it outside. But speaking to many agents outside and inside my office, one of the main things that I feel are lacking outside of the real estate industry is a good support and good knowledge when it comes to Matrix, because you guys are on this thing all day long. I'm not a realtor. I'm not licensed. I have never been a realtor. I like my side of things. I check every single transaction that goes through my office. So I am on this thing stalking all of our listings all day long. So I know what you're liable for. I know the tricks, the tips, anything that you actually need, you know, reverse prospecting, farming, your hot sheets. I actually get the market reports for our company, and we send it out to marketing to give a very nice report on market reports for different areas. So you can do so many things with just using your home MLS that I feel that it's lacking, that realtors don't have that knowledge inside your offices to be able to give that out. So I am very, very, very happy and proud that, you know, Aqualina wanted me to come out and speak to you guys and teach you guys something that is not being taught out there, because if you go to the board, what they're teaching you is just how to navigate the program. They're not getting you in there to teach you the ins and outs of the actual MLS. Okay, so welcome. I don't know how knowledgeable you guys are on Matrix, so I want to go from, you know, kind of basics all the way and get you guys through getting to do those market reports if we have enough time, okay? One of the great things I like about Matrix is that it's entirely customizable. I don't know how many of you guys are using Repatuni. Unfortunately, Repatuni does not have an admin view, so I have been unable to get in there and learn it, because for what I needed for my office, it's unavailable, okay? But if you learn Matrix very well, what I've learned about Repatuni is that Repatuni is even more techy and more customizable than Matrix. So if you start customizing your MLS, and you decide to switch over, it will be a much easier switch, okay? So if you guys can see my home page, I can grab any box and move it around. Just drag and drop, sorry about that, okay? If, for example, you don't wanna see your hot sheets, you can click it off. But for me, I teach the hot sheets are extremely important for everyday farming, so I always want to have that box available. If you go to additional, you can always grab that hot sheet from under and bring it back right back to your screen, okay? And I know this is very basic, I just don't know the crowd that I'm having here today, so I want to go from beginning to end. One of the most important things that I like to teach realtors is to go into your matrix, go into your My Information, and start checking out all the information that's in there, because even though you're a part of an office and your office is supposed to provide this information to Matrix automatically once you join, you're also a member of the board, so you should go into your Matrix and make sure that the board has the correct information for you. So if any of this information is incorrect, please go in, call the board, write them an email. I know you guys have notepads. You can actually write them membership@miamire.com, or I can provide you their phone number a little bit later. If you guys have ever done any type of report on the MLS, you guys can actually set up a header and footer. So all your reports actually have your information. Again, I am not a realtor, so mine is in default screen, because I don't use this to send out any reports or information to any clients. But go in here, if you want to upload your picture, please do so. Make sure that your phone number and email are there, because it's the most important information for your clients to go ahead and contact you directly. The next one is your CMA cover sheets. It's in the name. It's a cover sheet in case you're gonna do a CMA and you're gonna present a report. If you're gonna put a CMA cover sheet, do you want your name on there? Do you want your information, your phone numbers? Go ahead and make sure that that is correct. Your email signature. Your email signature, you can, I don't know if your offices give you a set up email signature bar already done. If they do, you can actually copy and paste it and put it in as an image and throw it in here. As you can see, my signature is old. I actually have our marketing team create mine for my regular emails, but I would have been able to go ahead, grab, copy, paste, and put it in without a problem. That way you guys don't have to write it all out. Your agent webpage. I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with this, but by being a part of the Miami board, you're actually paying for a very free website. I've never seen it. Most agents actually go ahead and pay it on their own, so I cannot tell you how techy, beautiful, or anything it is. But if you do want to activate it, you're able to, and you're able to pick your own URL address, okay? And give it information. What is it that you guys want your website to show? What type of listings? Do you want your expires listings to be on there? And if you need a new domain, you can actually put it. Let's say you're paying for a domain name. You can actually use that as your domain name for your website through the board. And of course, the board left the best part for last. Your portal profile. I don't know how many of you guys were familiar with MLS Exchange or Fusion. Before, you used to be able to pick what view you wanted your clients to see and send it directly from your search grid. Now what it's doing is that it's sending your clients directly into a portal. So over here, you're gonna let them know what you want to show in your portal. Now, I don't know how familiar you guys are with the portal, but every time you guys send out an email, your clients are getting a link. They're no longer getting your results. So let's say I send this out on Monday. I want to see it in the portal just so you guys can see what my portal looks like. This is the way my client, in this case is our marketing team, is receiving whatever I've sent them from the MLS. So it's no longer client view, 8-picture view. It actually just gets a link, it sends it directly to them, and this is how they're viewing it. Okay, so it's very important for you guys to be in your matrix, and again, go into my information.
What's it under then?
It's under my information, and go into your portal profile. They're just getting a link, and it goes directly into your portal. So I think that out of everything that I taught on what to fix or add in your matrix, I think this is the most important one, because this is exactly what your clients are viewing at all times, okay? Anything you send out will be here. And it's something that if you send them a link today, it's not gonna go away tomorrow. 3 months from now, they're like, hey, let me see what my realtor sent me that one time, and it's gonna send them right back to here. And they're gonna be able to see if it's expired, if it's still active or anything 3 months later. So that link is so important. Have your information, have your pictures, have your email addresses on there. Make sure you put a nice greeting. Mine is very bland because the only reason why I use this is to send all of our listings to our marketing team to send out our featured properties or just listed. So I'm the one that's communicating with him through here, and I actually use the portal for that. I know I'm going fairly quickly, but this is kind of like the beginning of. Now, most of you guys, the first thing you guys tell me is, how do I create a search, right? It's like, how do I search? Matrix narrows everything down. Before an MLS Exchange, I used to get 100 results. Now I'm only getting 5. Why is this happening, right? So when you go to search, you have different options. Obviously, your RE1s, RE2s are your sales for single family homes or your condos or your townhouses. Most of you guys may stay here, or you guys may stay in rentals. I actually stay in cross property. All the other ones are pretty much commercial. You have your business opportunities, your duplexes with your residential incomes. Cross property, however, if you don't know what it is, it gathers whether it's a sale or if it's a rental or if it's commercial or not, and it brings it all together. So in my case, I want to see all the listings that my office is doing, whether it's sales, whether it's rentals, whether it's commercial, whatever it is that they're doing, I want to see it in the screen without having to go back between RE1s, RNTs, or COMs. So I go straight into cross property. In this case, I'm going to stick with the sales. This is mainly your criteria. Now, let's say your client comes up to you and says, I want something $500,000 and less. You would click 500,000, 500. Over here, it's already clicked for the extra zeros. So it's 500 minus. That gives you everything that's under 500,000. If you want between 500,000 and 800,000, 500-800. If your client wants 500 and up, you would go plus, okay? Same thing happens with your total bedrooms. Let's say your client wants 2 bedrooms and up, 2 plus, 2 minus, 2 minus. Let's say you have a very finicky client and they only want even numbers. You would separate by commas, 2, 4, 6. Then it will only show you the apartments or the homes that only have 2 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, or 6 bedrooms. Same thing with odd numbers. This also happens with full baths, half baths, garage spaces, square living area. If your client wants 5,000 square feet and up, you go plus. If they want minus, you go minus, or you do in between, okay? Let's say they give you a whole bunch of MLS numbers. How many of you guys have gotten that phone call and they're like, I went on Zillow. First of all, why? And they give you 5 different MLS numbers that are usually not even active anymore. You would come in here to this MLS number part and you can separate them by commas without having to enter one and going back and forth. Just enter them all in there. Let's say you want to see closed sales that happen in the last 6 months. It's automatically there, 0 to 180. But let's say you want to see everything that happened in November that closed out. You would go 11/01/2018 to 11/30/2018, and it will automatically only show you what closed out in November. So you guys can do it either by the number of days, like it automatically pops up, or you guys can actually give it from what day to what day you want to see that. And this happens, you can actually do this not just with closed sales, you can do it from active all the way to the bottom. Now, I know that the board recently changed backup contracts, and it's now active with a contract. I don't know if you guys have seen the change on your MLS. Areas. Are you guys familiar with areas? Your areas is the way that the counties have broken down to match with your folio where that property is actually located. If you don't know what area you're working with, you can always go to your help button. Second to last, it would be area maps. And you guys can have your area map always available on the board. A lot of people don't know that this is available all the time. It's right in your MLS. So you guys can always come back in here and look at your area maps. But back to the search, whenever you guys are searching by areas, you don't have to limit yourself to just one area. Let's say you want the area, let's say, I always use Key Biscayne because I worked there for so many years, but Key Biscayne has 2 area numbers, it's 52 and 42. I would be able to put them in there, separated by comma. So far, so good? Okay. Let's say you need to add additional fields because whatever, you have a very finicky customer, they need FHA, it's not on the top, and you want to add it at the bottom, you can always add and remove. You can also put in there if it's furnished or unfurnished, if they accept pets, if anything your client is very finicky and looking very precise on, you can always add on these additional fields.
It works as long as the realtors input correct information, though.
I always like to get there. I get there in a minute. But yes, she's right. So what's happening is that previously to Matrix, I want to say MLS Exchange and Fusion, most offices, the only person who would enter the listing was the support in the office. Somebody in the office, you would give them the paper, you would write it all down, you would hand it in, and they would input it for you. And most of the time, I hope that they would go back and they would check all the things that the realtors are putting, you know, if the folio didn't match the area or the municipal code, and they would go ahead and change that up for them. Now, all the agents are entering all their information themselves. So there are a lot of mistakes. If they omit information, and you're looking for that information, you're not gonna find that listing. Okay? Let's say you're looking for a certain line in a building. Let's say they only want the O1 line. You do asterisk 01, and let's say you want 1901. Any one that comes out in the O1 line will pop up. All you have to do is enter that asterisk.
Where is that at? Where you did the asterisk?
You see it right there under unit number, so you can see all the lines in that one building.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So you guys can do all the lines in that building. Let's say in broker remarks you want to see if it says motivated anywhere. You can also do asterisk motivated, and you can actually start getting words that you want to find in those remarks. That works in broker remarks, that works in regular remarks. So any word or keyword that you know that it's not in the criteria, but realtors usually use, bonus, you can put in there. And it will pop out anything that might have those words. So far, so good? All right, let's do a search with what I know. So we're gonna use zip code 33149, which is Key Biscayne. I wanna see everything that is active. I don't know what else I have. You can do a few things with this. Again, I always like to go back to customization, because if you try to switch to another MLS, that's all you're gonna be getting, customizing it for you. So you guys can grab any one of these boxes and you can move them around and drop them wherever you want to view them. You can also remove boxes. So let's say you're not really interested in seeing the listing agent's name. Once you see the 4 little arrows, you're gonna come down and you can remove that column. You can also add a column. So if you don't care about if it's an IMAP or not, you can remove it or you can insert it. Now you can do many things. Let's say you have gone through these 400 listings and you're picking those 4. You don't wanna have to go back and forth, back and forth. You have a little box back at the bottom that says carts. This is one of my favorite boxes, because in carts, you're not sending the listings to your clients. You're kind of shopping. Right now, you're window shopping at the store. You're putting things in your carts. You still need to try them on. You don't want to send it out yet. You're not paying for it yet. And you would put it in your cart. You have different options here. In your cart, you can either add to and pick one of your, sorry about that. You can go in here and pick which client you want to put this into. You can add a contact. Again, it's not sending it out to them. Or you can just add it. For me, I'm going to put it in my cross-property cart. Now I go home. I want to go back into what I've picked for this client. I go in here. It has 16 because every time I do a class, I put things in the cart. And you can always see what you're, and then from here, you can actually send it out to your clients. Let's say you're not ready to put it in your cart yet. Let's say you just want to view those 4 listings I've picked. Here at the bottom, you have a button that's called Refine. It narrows it down to just those 4 listings. Now you don't see the 400, results that you had gathered. With these 4 listings, now you can go back to your regular actions, where you can either export them, you can email them, and you can continue to put them in your cart. There's different options to also save your listings. If you're in the save, if you want to go ahead and save them, you can either save on your search. Let's say you're working with a client, they like this area, you're going to continuously be using this criteria for them. Maybe they're buying, every few months for investment purposes. So you want to do a new save search for yourself, but not to send it to the client, or this is something that you're farming with. You're going to go ahead and click on new saved search. You're going to give it a name. You might want to put it under contact so you know who it is that you're working this save search for. And then you're going to go ahead and save it. Now, let's say you have a client that 62 showings later, they still haven't decided and you're tired of doing the search for them. So you want to just go ahead and automatically send it to them without having to do the search over and over again. Then you have what is called your new auto emails. With your new auto email, you're going to pick the contact who you want to do the auto email for. You're going to give it a subject. And then you're able to pick how often you want this out to go. Do you want it to go as soon as there's a new listing for them? Do you want it to go daily? Then you pick what days you want it to go out. Do you want it to go out in the morning? You know that they're a nurse, so they're sleeping during the day, so most likely they're going to be checking their emails at nighttime. So you can pick if you want it done during the morning or if you want it done at nighttime. Or instead, if you want them to just get a monthly email. There's another feature here that is actually my favorite one, but because this only has 4 listings, it's not allowing me. But it's called the concierge mode. So if you look at this box over here, that is usually available and you can actually click on it. What's great about this feature is that instead of automatically sending the email out to your customers, it notifies you first. So over here on the top, you would get a yellow line that says, hey, you have listings to approve or reject. And you would click on there, and then you'd actually go through the listings before they actually get sent out to your customers, and you're able to say what you want them to see without them getting bombarded. What if there's 50 listings, or what if there's an amount that is too heavy for them? You actually want to narrow it down for them because you know them better than the system does. So always go ahead and enable what is called concierge mode. Okay? One of my favorite things on how to do a search is the new speed bar shortcut. And I think it's my favorite because if you guys worked with MLS Exchange, you used to be able to either put the MLS number on the top bar, and it used to take you directly, the zip code, it used to take you directly. And then when Matrix came out, it was very finicky and they were still, tweaking it. And that top bar, no matter what I put in there, it never worked. It only worked with codes, either RE2s, the zip code, but you had to be very specific with those codes. So my top bar never worked. So one great thing that they had created was shortcuts, and you're able to give it a name. So let's say I want to do the search and I don't want to come back and do it again. I want to name it AcquaTalks. And I go home, I get out of here, and I want to see the results that page gave me. I just put it up here in this top bar. Why don't you understand me? Ah, thank you. It's very important to save. I'm still a little off. So you'd put it up there and it would take you straight into your results without having to do it again, only by this name, okay? So that was one of the features that I actually enjoyed the absolute most.
So I'm sorry, in what situations would you use that feature?
Let's say you're farming. I like when agents farm an area, right? So let's say you're farming Sunny Isles and you want to concentrate just on Aquilina. Instead of having to go back and forth with the saved searches or with your auto saved search, you don't want to go into my matrix, saved searches, and then look for the name Aquilina that you've saved. What you would do is just give it a name. You're farming everything that's happening in this building, and you just put the name and it will show you every listing based on the criteria that you've put in there.
Could you show it again?
Of course. So you're doing a search. I'm going to start from the very beginning. Let's say I want to do 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. Trying to narrow them down. You would go to the bottom. You see where it says this box right here where it says save. New speed bar shortcut. You give it a name.
But it always starts with the slash.
It always starts with a slash. It's automatically posted.
Safe.
Yes, thank you.
So it keeps you informed every time you have something new in there, or?
I'm actually going to teach hot sheets in a minute, which I prefer over this. I just wanted to touch base with the searches. And I think that would be better if you want to always continuously view what's going on in a certain place. Then you would put it in your bar when you got home. You input the name, and it would pop up. So far, so good? Now, I know that I went rather fast through this beginning parts because I don't know if I have very, new realtors or if I have very experienced realtors. So I like to start with, customize your information, a little bit of searches. But I think that one of the main things that are lacking are hot sheets. I don't know how many, veteran agents I have, but before, hot sheets was your go-to. That's all you would work with. You would farm this way. You would look at all your listings this way. So hot sheets is at the very, very, very beginning of your page. It's in your home page somewhere. Where are you? Right here. Your hot sheets will tell you everything that's active, everything that's expired, everything that's happening either in an area or in a building that you're farming. Okay, so when you walk in and say, I am the expert, or I specialize in the Sunny Isles area, and they ask you, okay, well, how many units have sold in the last 6 months in Aqualina? I don't know. I need to look for it. Instead of saying, I don't know, let me go ahead and search for you so I can tell you, or how many square footage, what are the number of bedrooms that's moving around, how many have rented, how much have they rented for? And you sit there and you say, let me go into my computer and let me get this information for you. Now you don't look like you specialize in that area. You don't look like you're the expert of that building. You have no idea what's going on. So what I love teaching the agents is that knowledge is power. If somebody can ask you a question and you can automatically answer it, now you just became specialized, right? So that's what hot sheets does for you. And I think that most agents don't even have this set up, or they don't even know that it exists, right? And it's right in your home page. See, for me, if I go in OPTI 01 are the broker codes for my Sunny Isles office right here. So if I want to see everything that has been listed, everything that has been rented, everything that has been sold in my office, I check in the last 7 days and I click on there, I will see all the movement that my office has done. All of it. So what's great about this is that I can actually call one of my agents and say, hey, you were looking for something in this area. Look, we just had 3 pop up in our other office, or these pop up here in Brickell. I will know exactly what to tell them when they ask me a question, right? But same thing with you guys. So how do you set up your hot sheets? From your home screen, you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna click customize. The first thing I want you to do, if you've never set up your hot sheets, you're gonna have a whole bunch of lists in your default button. I want you to go home and I want you to delete them all. You're gonna do absolutely nothing that the board has defaulted you with. So go in and erase them all. Once you're in there, I want you to put add. If you wanna see rentals and you wanna see sales and you really want, an investor comes up to you and says, all right, how much are they selling for? How much are they actively right now in the market, and how much can I rent it the minute that I, after I purchase it? If you want to be able to have that answer, stick with cross property. Don't stick with sales and rentals. Keep it all together so you can view it in one page. So you're going to go ahead and click on cross property and you're going to give it a name. For the sake of this training, I'm going to go ahead and just pick the zip code 33160 and I'm going to save. Then I'm going to go ahead and edit the criteria. Once I'm in this page, it looks just like a search criteria, right? So you guys are familiar with this page. It's nothing new. The only difference that I want you guys to do is I want you guys to pick all of your I can't even talk. I want you to pick all the options that are there because I want you guys to see everything that's active, everything that's expired, everything that just got in a contract, everything that's been rented. I don't want you guys to pick out anything else, okay? If you guys are working with a certain building, put the address of the building. Don't put street, don't put avenue. If the other agent on the other side forgot, spelled it wrong, let's say they spelled out street and you only put ST, you will not see it, okay? If they put, and that's all I'm gonna put on this. I'm not gonna tell it how many days back to give it to me. No, don't put avenue, because if the other agent spelled out avenue, or if they put AV, or if they put AVE, and you don't spell it exactly like them, you're gonna miss that listing. You're not going to see it. So notice that less is more. I'm only putting this address. I only wanna see what's happening in this one. This is a building, correct?
Yes.
Beautiful.
It's my building.
Beautiful. So I'm gonna click on save. Do you know if it has a lot of movement?
A lot of what?
Movement? Are they buying, selling, some? Okay, so this is not gonna show you everything that's active in the market, right? Give it a minute, it's still saving. This is not going to be a regular search where you go back into your search engine and you wanna see everything that's active. This is not what your hot sheets are. Your hot sheets are just going to show you what happened in the last 24 hours, what happened in the last 3 days, what happened in the last week in that certain building. That's what a hot sheet is. So I'm gonna go ahead, I had named it with the zip code because I wanted you guys to give me an address. And in the last 7 days in this building, 2 have come active and 1 went from pending sale to closed sale. That's your hot sheet. That's what's happened in the last 7 days.
So I'm on top of it. I know that.
There you go. Why is this great? Because if I like to set it up every Monday, I look at the last 3 days, right? I want to see Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then every day after that, I like to see what's gone on in the last 24 hours. Why is that good? Because if I'm walking down Sunny Isles and I say, hi, I'm a realtor, did you know that this building right here had just had 2 active listings? Now you can start conversation and you just became the special, you just became a specialist in that one building or in that one area. Isn't that amazing? It's right in your fingertips all the time.
Now, do you put a time thing on it when you're trying for the hot sheet?
Yeah, so right before I click on which hot sheet I want to work with, you can pick the amount of days you want it to go back to. The most it goes back to is 7 days. So far, so good? Now, I like hot sheets when you're doing a certain building, right? But now you want to know what's going on around the building, right? So then that's where your market watch becomes. Your hot sheet should be specialized. Each building for that one section that you're farming. So if you're farming here in Sunny Isles, you should have Aqualina. You might separate the 2 Aqualinas that are here. You might want to put the Trump. You might want to do, I'm not very familiar with this area. I know Bricklemore. But you gather it. You want to go in every building maybe once a week. 1 week I'm going to learn Aqualina. I'm going to go in there. How much is your square footage? What is your maintenance? Is there a membership fee? What is your application fee? How long do you take to approve new clients? Now I know Aqualina with the hot sheet. Now I know the movement of Aqualina. Now I can say I specialized in Aqualina because I went in there. Not only have I spoken to the association, I know what's going on. I've gone into their open houses. I've gone into the sales centers so I can see what's on the market right now and what's available with brand new construction. But with your hot sheet, you get that information of what the realtors are doing with it. Now you can say they're running at this price, they're selling at this price, they're renting at this price. But besides Aqualina, now that you specialize in that one building, you want to go ahead and do the market watch. It's pretty much the same thing. So over here, this 33160 name that I gave it, I would have named it by the name of that building. With my market watch, I could do the exact same thing. I would go into customize, and this is where I would pick the area, either by area number, either by zip code, or not narrow it down, broaden my search so that I know what's going around the buildings that I'm farming. Does that make sense? See, over here on my market watch, I automatically have 33149, which is Key Biscayne, and I have everything in there. So when I do go in to see my market watch, I can tell you that in my zip code 33149, 19 came in new. There was 0 that came back on the market. 26 had a price decrease. 1 had an increase. So I know exactly what's going on in that entire zip code. But in my hot sheets, it will narrow it down to the buildings that you're farming. We're good? Any questions so far? Anything? We're good? Okay, the next one that I like to share, I think I have here. I don't know if any of your offices do your market reports. Okay? Most companies that do, they, no pun intended, they pay a fortune to gather the data that's in your market reports. And that company gives it to your company, and then your company gives it to marketing, and it's done. In our company, we go ahead and I go into the MLS and I gather all these numbers for you, and I go straight into marketing. This is done in-house. And the reason why I'm showing you that we do this is because if I can do it, so can you. And I'm gonna go ahead and teach you how to get the numbers for your market report. I have them here. These are for the north if you want. These are already broken down for Aventura, Sunny Isles, Hallandale, Hollywood, Surfside. So you guys can get it at the end. But where I'm at is that you don't have to, if your client says, what is the square footage? You guys can say, this is a price by square footage that occurred in the month of December, and then you can compare it to November, and then you can say what's going on now in January, okay, for your market reports. And that is done with a regular search. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the search for Sunny Isles. And I think that most people don't even know that this is there. So I would go ahead and pick the zip code 33160. In the case of Sunny Isles, I always do 2 types of market reports. I do for waterfront and I do for non-waterfront. In this case, I'm gonna go ahead and do yes for waterfront and the closed sales. So actively, I want to see everything that's active, currently active right now in the market, so I don't break it down. But in my closed sales, I do this twice. I do this by the month and I do it by the year. Obviously, our year just started, so I'm gonna use 2018 and December to show you guys. So my closed sales for the entire year of 2018, so I'm only doing my zip code, I'm putting in my dates, and I'm using waterfront. I'm gonna go ahead into my results. Right at the bottom of your screen, you have what's called stats, and you're gonna go ahead and click on tabular.
Excuse me.
Yes.
The 33160 represents so many little cities, so therefore the city is very important if we're going to do just a stat for.
Here's the thing, if I break it down by just the city of Sunny Isles, I might miss a few things. Because there's properties that might be right next to that line that you might want to compare to. You understand what I mean? Just like if I was gathering, what's it called? Just like if I was gathering area lines by the map. What also happens is, if that agent put Miami and didn't put Sunny Isles, that listing's gonna be gone. You're not gonna see it. But if I put the zip code, I understand it might gather around, but you might wanna compare it around. Does that make any sense? I'm just broadening it up. This is just for market purposes and not just for farming or to show a certain area or building or market watch for them. So then what happens here is that in the zip code 33160, everything that is waterfront, for the year, I see that actively I have 2,208 listings. They're asking, the listing price is about 800,000. The asking square footage is 512. So I always stay with the median. Sorry about that. I always stay with the median. And I see that days on the market is 152. Now for the year, from January all the way to December, my market, it was 871 closed sales. Even though the listing price up here was 800,000, the way that it was selling was at 355 is your medium price and the square footage. And my guess is because you guys have waterfront, that might be, you know, it might be comparing to the lower end, might be selling more than your higher end. So even though most of your listings, medium price are 800,000, the ones that are selling for the year of 2018 were at the 355 mark. Does that make sense? So now you're able to show them this. These are how many days were on the market. This is what they sold for. This is what they actually, by the square foot, and this is how much they actually sold for. And then I would go back and I would do the exact same thing, but for the month of December, so that I know what my market was in the month of December. And then that would be my market report for December. I show the year, what's gone on in that year up to that month. And I would show the square footage for that month of December. So 68 closed in the month of December. The asking price was $299,500. They actually sold at $280, and my square foot was at $216 a foot, and they were 93 days on the market. And then those are your market reports. Any questions? Yes.
But to make it into that format,
Yes.
you only have this.
Yes.
There's something in there, or you do it separately?
Is there what in there?
No, like you have it with the picture.
Marketing makes it pretty.
Oh, okay.
Marketing makes it pretty. I just gather the numbers.
Okay.
So this will tell you exactly.
What they have to put.
Yeah. So you have your square feet by the month, how much it's selling for, and then you have how many are active and how much they're actually selling for through the year and in that month that you're doing the market report for. You pass it to marketing and tell them to make it pretty. If not, it's boring. So far, so good. I'm pretty much ready to wrap up. I mean, I think I went really quickly between customization, searches, hot sheets, I think was the most important, and then the market reports. Yes?
Could you, I don't know, I'm pretty sure you've done it, could you show how to do the absorption rate of a certain zip code or of a certain building?
Give me the question differently. What do you mean the absorption rate?
How fast will the property sell?
How much inventory? How much you expect to sell?
Well, those are your days on the market.
And then you have to compare it.
There is a way of doing it. It's a CMA class.
Okay.
Remember exactly how to
Here's the thing with CMAs. Matrix has a great report. But if I were you guys, I would learn RPR really great, or even grab your IMAP and do the comparisons there, because I think that they have the most calculated information.
You can do it for one building, or for one community, or for one zip code. And that's going to show you how much inventory is on the market, how many months is going to stay on the market, more or less. So pretty much how fast will they sell?
Well, this kind of gives you that, but in a different way. Because I see that right now I have 2,208 active listings. So I see that currently right now, those are the amount of listings I have on the market. But then it tells me that for what they're asking for, they've been staying on the market for 152 days. Does that make sense? If they're priced well, that is more or less what MLS says that they stay on the market for. Yes? Pre-construction on the MLS. That's a great question.
That's the one that I cannot find.
You're not supposed to put pre-construction on the MLS. Is there on the MLS? I'm sure there is, but they're not supposed to be.
So I cannot find it.
Correct. There's no folio number. Folio numbers are required. They are a required field.
A lot of people just put them in 000-00.
They're catching those. I've tried. So instead of putting 000, you have to know where the dashes are now for them to be able to take it, or change the last two numbers. I play around with it a lot. just for playing purposes, nothing that I've put on there. But you're not supposed to put anything without a folio number. That's called cheating.
But developers do it.
Developers just play with the system from time to time. There's nothing that concretely says that they do it.
That's when the building is almost.
Do I wink at you guys? The reason for that is because when you're entering a property on the MLS, and I want to do this really quick, just in case you're farming with a folio number, really fast. Thanks for the questions. My nerves came out at the end. So when you're adding or editing a new listing, right, it asks you for certain information. I just want to do something really fast for you guys. And there's a reason why they require the folio number. The folio number in a property actually breaks down exactly where they're located. So if you start playing and putting wrong information, you might get a property that's out on the water. So they want to be able to compare and get all that comparison right where that property is. So this is one of my favorite things ever. So you look at the folio number, right? It's broken down for you. Your municipal code is your first set of numbers in your folio. Your township is just like your area, is the second set, always. Second set of numbers in your folio. Your section is your third, your subdivision is your fourth, and your parcel is the last one. What does this mean to you guys? Let's say you're farming with this. 1230 is the actual location of that lot. That is your property, right? If you go down, your subdivision is your complex, your section is everything that is around your complex, and then it's your area and your municipal code, right? So if you're going into IMAP and you only have one folio number, if you take out that lot number and you put in the rest of that folio, you're gonna get everything that's in that complex. Take out the subdivision, you're gonna get everything that's around that complex, including that complex. So if you start playing with the folio numbers and putting 00000, you're only gonna get developers. I'm kidding.
Just a question. We have a lot of our agents that take listings after pre-construction.
Yes.
They're not registered in the tax or anything like that. So there is no folio.
Yes.
What is the best way to put them on and be honest with you?
Okay. Okay, this is what's happening. You're doing it to manipulate the system. I don't work for the board, so I can tell you, we can sit privately and I can show you because I can play with the system very well. However, if REC or the board were to come in here, knock on your door and say, hey, I want to see the paperwork for this one, you're in deep shit.
Yeah. There's 4 listings coming off the side.
Now, what happens is that you'll get a warning. They're going to tell you that you have 3 days to fix it. Actually breaks down exactly where they're located. So if you start playing and putting wrong information, you might get a property that's out on the water. So they want to be able to compare and get all that comparison right where that property is. So this is one of my favorite things ever. So you look at the folio number, right? It's broken down for you. Your municipal code is your first set of numbers in your folio. Your township is just like your area, is the second set, always. Second set of numbers in your folio. Your section is your third, your subdivision is your fourth, and your parcel is the last one. What does this mean to you guys? Let's say you're farming with this. 1230 is the actual location of that lot. That is your property, right? If you go down, your subdivision is your complex, your section is everything that is around your complex, and then it's your area and your municipal code, right? So if you're going into IMAP and you only have one folio number, if you take out that lot number and you put in the rest of that folio, you're gonna get everything that's in that complex. Take out the subdivision, you're gonna get everything that's around that complex, including that complex. So if you start playing with the folio numbers and putting 00000, you're only gonna get developers. I'm kidding.
Just a question. We have a lot of our agents that take listings after pre-construction.
Yes.
They're not registered in the tax or anything like that. So there is no fault.
Yes.
What is the best way to put them and be honest with you?
Okay. Okay, this is what's happening. You're doing it to manipulate the system. I don't work for the board, so I can tell you, we can sit privately and I can show you because I can play with the system very well. However, if REC or the board were to come in here, knock on your door and say, hey, I want to see the paperwork for this one, you're in deep shit.
Yeah. There's 4 listings coming off the side.
Now, what happens is that you'll get a warning. They're going to tell you that you have 3 days to fix it or take it off. Take it off. Wait a few months. Put them back on. Under somebody else's license. But
Oh, so that's how it works. Oh, okay. That's how
it's...
Oh, yeah, the Jill's right.
We get this question all the time. Let's say you're buying something pre-construction and you already have the buyer before the closing. You don't have a folio number. You have to put it up because they want to resell it after they get it. They play with the system a lot. Okay?
Yeah.
We're good? Call me later. All right, we're pretty much good. You're welcome.